Hello, OG team. It's your ex-brother-in-law, Paul Salt here. How is she, by the way? Oh, no, I'm glad to hear it. I'm afraid my colleague and boxing coach Paul Goodman will not be joining us this week, as he's been kidnapped by monkeys.
Well, I mean, speaking of miscast, Tom Cruise isn't the biggest... Oh! Fucking monkeys now!
But before his simian shit-up, he recorded his half of a one quick thing, which I'll try and speak along to now. Hello, and welcome to the One Quick Thing, the podcast that can't even stroll through the forest without bumping into beautiful women. Ran into 3 on my way down to the post office yesterday. Drowned 2.
I got 4 right here. All dead, though.
All dead, of course. Always dead. I'm Paul Salt.
I'm Paul Goodman.
And today we're going to be delving back into the gory Gorehouse greats for Disc 1, Side 1, Film 1. They fucking led with this.
Wow. It does make the most business sense, to be honest.
As soon as they start and that grainy fucking green streaked footage starts, they'll know they made the right purchase.
We're at SeaWorld?
Look at that production value. It's like The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
This is Dracula's castle. It's a fascinating place to visit. But you couldn't live here. Not for very long, anyway. Certain people find the old place positively captivating. Blood of Dracula's castle. For the most charming vampires you'll ever meet. Johnny's their ward. He's not a bad sort, either, if you like fiends.
Oh god, yes. It's Blood of Dracula's Castle, the 1969 horror film home movie, written by Rex Carlton of Nightmare and Wax fame. And it seems like old Rex isn't the only one who fell prey to the seedier side of Hollywood back in the day, because director Al Adamson, who also directed movies such as Psycho a Go-Go, The Female Bunch, and Hell's Bloody Devils, which I've actually seen and is quite fun but also similarly inept.
Right, okay.
He ended up getting murdered by his live-in contractor, which is obviously a great tragedy to his family, but what a fucking Hollywood way to die that your live-in contractor killed you. I'm hoping the two were also lovers.
I mean, was it a contract killer? Because if that's the case, then what do you expect?
Look, you haven't given me anyone to kill in a while. What can we get you to do? Could you kill the paper boy? Okay. You don't have anything that would maybe develop a few more of my skills? Like, tell you what, why don't you get him dressed as his mum, whilst hugging him as his mum? Alright.
Have you got any seminars I could attend?
Look, I'm just floating the idea I might kill you. Alright. Well, we'll see about that at the next quarter, okay? But with more B-movie royalty here with John Carradine, one of the most prolific actors who ever lived, character actors, that is, appearing in over 200 films from 1930 to 1995. He was in Bride of Frankenstein and Peggy Sue Got Married. That's like being in The Wizard of Oz and Aliens, only it's 2 years more crazy than that.
Or it's like being Matthew McConaughey.
It's exactly like that.
And his whole thing that he's got going on. Bloody hell. Any relation to Richard? Oh, no, David.
David, yes, I believe there probably is a relationship, because they do have a sort of facial similarity.
They look equally spooky, yeah.
There are no proper critical reviews, of course, but Uriah43 at IMDb reckons,
that guy,
this suffered from too many characters and subplots. Yeah, it's like a fucking Thomas Pynchon novel, this one. So, Paul, you serial killer or werewolf, depending on what version we're watching.
Mango!
What's one thing about this movie that made you want to catch the next train out? I'm on the next train out. Out of your sight. Out of your hooves. Out of the way.
Well, there is some gore in this. I think. It could be just about considered gore, I think. Right?
Could it be a gore house great? Maybe?
There is a house, and some of this is pretty great.
Excellent.
And there is a very concentrated period of gore. Well, gore, it's more sort of unpleasantness, but I'm willing...
It's the British equivalent to gore.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
There's some impoliteness here. Okay, what happens in Blood of Dracula's Castle?
So we start in SeaWorld.
Yes, they do. Do we start in SeaWorld? I feel like there's a... No, we start...
Oh, no, you're right. No,
catching
we don't.
the next train out.
How could I forget? How could I forget this fucking beginning?
Train out, I'm on the next train out. I'm taking the next train out of this town.
The catchiest fucking song ever.
Man, we are back in Birdemic territory with this with this beginning. Okay, a lady is driving in a car, listening to the song that we just mentioned.
The entire song.
For about 8 minutes, it's an extended cut, studio cut, redux. All very nice and pleasant, until she runs into Mango and screams.
She gets got.
Yeah.
She gets Liam Neeson style taken.
Okay, so scene set. Now we're at SeaWorld. I'm very sorry about that. there's a guy, Glenn, is taking many pictures of his girlfriend Liz.
Glenn Cannon.
Glenn Cannon. That's fuck me. That's what Tom Cruise should have been called in the Mummy. Glenn Cannon.
It's Mr. Cannon.
Because it also sounds like a really sort of rough Highland village in Scotland. And I don't mean rough in like a POV, like estatey sort of way. I mean in like everyone's wearing kilts and don't laugh at them way.
Not when you're passing through Glen Cannon. But
oh god,
of the
Glen Cannon.
Kevin Glen Cannon of the clan Glen Cannon.
Clan of Glen Cannon. Jesus, that's in Wales, isn't it?
Yeah. He's there with his sexy girlfriend / model for his photography, Liz. Liz. I don't think she's given a surname, so Liz Minigun.
Yep, Liz Victoria's Secret.
One guy comes up with a sort of very serious look on his face and goes up to them and says, it's come to our attention that you're doing a fashion shoot at our SeaWorld. Maybe. Like, you're actually getting into the exhibits and posing with, like, the seals and shit. Yes, that's what Glenn Cannon is doing today.
What are you doing?
What did you do today, Glenn Cannon? Well, I went to SeaWorld. Aw, no.
You obviously don't know Glenn Cannon.
Like we do. He gives him a telegram. A cannon, I almost said. Here you go.
Here, and he fires the cannon, and it spells in the sky that his relative is dead, and he's got to go, because he's now been bequeathed a castle, an American castle, and which is really just a condo, in order to go and seize it from the two kindly old people that currently live there. He has to go all the way there.
He does.
Possibly spend a night. And then vampires!
Oh no! The old couple who live in the castle, who live in that fucking castle, it turns out to be a sort of aging middle-class Dracula and his countess, who fucking rent their castle.
Look, Raul Julia had fallen on hard times. He got Street Fighter under his belt, and in this economy, what can you do?
It's actually a really hard time for vampires, because no matter how rich you are, if you're living forever, it's not going to be rich enough.
Well, I mean, cost of living goes up, doesn't it? So
inflation. He's not earning new money. It's like, can I have a pint of milk, please? 50p. I have 7 doubloons.
Luckily, it's not really a market economy in Raul Julia's house, because they have a bevy of beauties. That tended to by John Carradine, maybe David Carradine. We can't confirm that.
He might be like Jack and Hagar. He might be everyone. Every Carradine. He's really lazy, though. He can't come up with different surnames. I'm Jeff Carradine. Let me work near your king.
You don't know.
So the scheme is Mango goes out and bonks pretty women in the head when they wander through the forest, as they all do. You know what you're like, pretty women.
Yeah.
Stay out of the forest. They all warned you. They get bonked on the head by Mango, who brings them back, and then fucking... What's John Carradine's character name? The butler?
The butler, I think, is just what I've got him as.
Well, yeah, he just fucking syringes them up and then feeds it to the two vampires. But that's going to change soon, and they're going to get new vintages, because they've arranged for Johnny to be broken out.
Yes. And by broke out of prison, they mean... He hits an officer over the head when he's letting him out, and then he runs off.
He had arranged for him to just be let go, But in order to cover up the guard's involvement, he was going to give him like a quick bonk on the head, except it's fucking Johnny, the wrong one, so he beat him to death instead.
Yep. So Johnny's running away from people with dogs now, and he comes across a woman who's just chilling in a bikini in this sort of bit of water that he's running into, and who's oblivious to the sound of dogs barking, and then he just murders her because, well, he's Johnny. He
drowns her quickly.
Drowns her quickly. Drowns her quickly. He escapes the people pursuing him. He knocks a guy out and who's tending to a car, puts him in the boot of the car. Pulls up by another guy, shoots the other guy again, in a very sort of Anton Chigurh sort of way.
Through the fucking windscreen. He doesn't even roll down the window or anything.
Doesn't even take the time to roll down the windscreen. Doesn't even have the common courtesy to roll down a windscreen before shooting someone in the face with a double-barrel shotgun. And then once he gets changed very quickly and comically in a moving car like Mr. Bean, and then also like Mr. Bean, he then kicks the car, including the guy in the trunk, off a cliff, which explodes.
And then he has a good old laugh about it.
Yeah, and that's Johnny for you, everyone.
What a fucking character introduction. So, yeah, he's on his way now to Dracula's castle. He's catching the next train out to Dracula's castle.
Mm-hmm.
He gets there and he sort of meets up with the butler, who asks him, did you cover your tracks? Well, I killed 2 people I didn't need to, clumsily disguised my death in a car crash with someone who looks nothing like me, and whose clothes I don't think I even changed all the way into. So, yes? Oh, and I killed your contact inside the prison. Oh, good. Okay.
That woman, though, I did leave her underwater, so...
They can't search underwater. It's not their jurisdiction. Look, come on. You come and sit down. I can tell you've had a day.
Oh, okay. Well, that chat's over, because now Glenn Clannan from the clan of Glenn Clannan... Well, they get to the castle and they plan to turf the vampires out, not knowing they're vampires, of course.
No. The vampires complain and say, oh, have you considered not turfing us out? And he's like... Sorry, it's Liz, she's got her heart set on the place, haven't you, dear? And he smacks her on the ass.
Liz has her heart set on living here.
Well, we're very old, and it would be very stressful for us to move. Sorry, it's Liz, it's fucking... I don't want you to move. I don't want it. But Liz, oh, fuck, she's a real fucking cockbender. I mean, unreasonable bitch,
Liz is just such a cunt. I can't fight this. I hate her.
I hate being an instrument of Liz, okay? But it is the way it is, okay? Isn't it, darling? Yeah, isn't it, darling? Yeah, lovely. Yeah. Please move out before Liz gets mad. And Liz is just there like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
To be fair, I was expecting Liz to go, oh no, I don't mind, but she was just smelling the vintage of her own farts. And
quite elaborately.
She's like, yes, I'm pretty perfect. What can I say?
It's just incredibly
Get
uncomfortable.
Get out of here, you old fucks.
It's just so uncomfortable that you put it all on Liz, and she's just sort of left there smiling politely.
Then they go to bed because the vampires are like, well, we'll give it a couple of days before we reveal we're vampires, and maybe we can sway them before then. Yeah, because we don't want to have to kill them, last resort and all that.
Yeah. They hear noises in the night that sounds an awful lot like a bunch of women being screamed as they get syringed by John Carradine.
Yes. Could easily be Toucans, though.
It could be.
Liz and Glenn Clannan go down to investigate, and I think, at first they bump into the butler, into David Carradine, who explains that it's probably Toucans. Yeah. And that satisfies them somehow. And then the next day they bump into Johnny after going for a swim next to a horse. Horses?
They find a horse and they're next to it, and they talk to him about the noise. And he's like, oh, well, you're not going to be able to head home. Also, I forgot to say, but definitely true, your car was making funny noises. So probably best not get in that and use it to get away from this situation. So I recommend you stay for the special party we're throwing just for you guys later on. And, just stop asking so many questions.
Yeah. Oh, also, toucans. Did I mention toucans?
Definitely toucans. So they come away... And Liz says to Glenn Clannan, what do you suppose those birds are? Maybe we should go look at those birds. And Glenn just says, oh, I mean, they were definitely lying, right? They definitely had girls, chained up in the basement and, screaming, and they just lied and said they were toucans. You knew that and you didn't do anything? Well, you didn't. I thought I thought we were okay with this. You know, it's a rough world. Can't solve every problem.
I was tired. What do you want from me, woman?
I like the horses, okay? I just want to... I want to stroke them at some point. And I feel like if we report this to the police, they'll be impounded. Liz, it's about time I told you. All that weird saddle play wasn't just sex for me. It was a way of life.
Honestly, Glenn, I'd find this easier to take if you weren't fingering the bridle right now. I just like it, okay? I like how it makes my gums feel.
So just to humour her, they do go and explore the basement to see if there is a fucking toucan down there. Of course there fucking isn't.
in the basement where toucans hang out. And yes, what a surprise.
Come on, Liz, let's go look.
There are toucans down here.
Have you got any bird feed on you? You might need it.
In the basement. The bird basement.
Where they're keeping their fucking birds, clearly.
God, it's good that you're attractive.
Thank God. So they head down to the basement from the outside because why would you secure that basement? Do you want to put a padlock on this?
Can't see when that would ever be necessary.
We're just keeping toucans down here. No, you don't think that. Jesus.
Yes, so it turns out that not toucans as suspected, but women, and several women were making the women screaming sounds. So they go out into the next room, and there are coffins.
Oh, there were coffins, and they check one, and John Carradine is inside of it. Oh no! Wonder what's in the other? Well, we'd better go check. Better check that one as well, because that one might be treats. Willem Dafoe comes in. I heard there were treats in here. Get out of here. You only ever find horrible things.
The worst truffle pig.
He truffles out the worst horrors known to humanity.
Truffling out a rustling. I'm Willem Dafoe. Russell Truffler.
The Gollum of our universe.
Anyway, there's a perfectly rational explanation for all this, Glenn Clannan says. What? Says Liz. They're vampires, he says. You idiot, Liz.
Obviously.
I fucking hate you. We have nothing in common. Why do I even abide you? You're so beneath me.
Oh, it's that arse, isn't it? Yeah. Let me punch it again. Let me punch it with my slightly open fist.
Now, Liz, there is a perfectly sane and rational explanation for the whole thing.
Let me hear it.
Well, they're vampires, that's all.
They sort of say, hey, you gonna let us go? No, we're not. Terribly sorry. Did you think we'd let you go? Ooh. That's awkward.
Well, can I at least see the toucan, says Liz. And everybody just goes,
for fuck's sake, Liz.
I'm so sorry about this, guys.
Jesus Christ.
So, they're not going to let them go because, well, they're vampires. And
Johnny frees one of the girls briefly and takes her over to the billiard fucking table that's in this castle's basement. Mm-hmm. Well, before Johnny can do any of his assaulting, the Dracula comes downstairs. Just remember he's fucking Dracula. Jesus Christ. He comes downstairs and it's like, oi, if you spoil our sacrifice, then...
Oh, be livid.
You're not going to get to be turned into a vampire.
Yeah.
I really, really like assaulting women, though. Like, it's my favourite. It's like ice cream and apple pie, you know?
Do you like it more than being a vampire? You got me there.
Oh. He turns to his wife. Are you sure this is the guy we want to make live forever? They burn one of the chicks. And the sacrifice, and they come back to the house.
In a very Wicker Man
inspired
scene. Well, I say inspired.
Pre Wicker Man. This is the OG.
The OG Wicker Man.
My God.
Fuck you, everybody involved with original Wicker Man. How are our heroes going to get out? They give Glenn Clannan and Liz Glenn Clannan wine, which they throw in Johnny's face.
Acidic wine.
Yes.
So that if thrown into a face, the person will recoil, going, ah!
They get free by taking Johnny's gun, shooting him, and then they make the butler fall off some stairs, and then they let the vampires turn to dust in the sun.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Or bats.
There's a number of reverse shot on that, one of which is Glenn Cannon going, my God, they've aged. They must be several hundred years old. And their hair's just gone like slightly grey, but they look otherwise exactly the fucking same. Glenn Cannon, have you never seen an old person before? Their hair! It's got a mysterious white! Jesus, they must be hundreds of years old.
I'm glad that'll never happen to me, Glenn Clannan. And then they very slowly try to get away, but then Mango comes and very slowly legs it after them. They easily run away from Mango, but then they don't easily run away from him because they stand there and try and shoot him, even though he's moving at literally a mile an hour. Mango throws Glenn off a cliff just when we thought the movie was going to end, and then in several cuts, Glenn makes it up the cliff. Then he sets Mango on fire. He falls off a cliff, or a dummy of Mango falls off the cliff, and that's that, really.
Yep, end credits.
They no longer even have to slowly make it away. They can just stand there and go, oh, safe now. Brilliant.
You still want to live in that castle? Well, maybe not, but we should definitely go free those toucans. And then he throws her off the cliff.
Yeah.
That's the end of the film.
Turns into a cannon and fires her into the sun.
The end. Oh, man. That was good fun.
It was really good fun.
The joys of the film come from the stuff that's done, first of all, sort of badly. Let's talk about that first, because it's the easiest stuff to sort of laugh at, is the sort of stuff that's rough. It's, like, in a funny way. Some of the performances are, like, humorously bad. Line deliveries.
Yeah.
The cheapness of it. They have 3 rooms of that castle. There's the fireplace bit. Not even rooms. They have angles of this castle. They have the fireplace bit that must not be panned all the way around. And they have the one corner of basement that they will redress as needed to either be where the ladies are manacled up or where the coffins are.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the same room...
Oh my god, is this why they had a 360 view of SeaWorld? Because they could actually get away with it without being called out.
Look, the other side.
Cinema.
It's fucking dolphin. The things that were bad about it were sort of enjoyably bad. Like, there was really humorously so bad it's good moments. But aside from that, there was also just a lot of stuff that was intended to work. And a lot of it is sort of intentionally campy and over the top and funny. And it was really good.
I do think that the people playing the Draculas, Mr. and Mrs. Dracula, they knew exactly what this was, I think.
Why are you keeping me here? My dear, we need you. You see, we need your blood. What kind of things are you? Vampires. Vampires. Well, I know we may seem to be a novelty, but there are a few of us left.
We are dramatically referred to as the living dead.
When will you let me go? Oh, never, I'm afraid.
Say, how did you come to that conclusion? Or are you just being facetious?
Well, you must admit I'm rational. I don't think I'm Napoleon. I don't see little green animals on the end of my bedpost.
How about your psychopathic desire to kill?
And that little rampage bit was pure exploitation cinema, where Johnny escapes from prison and just goes on a killing spree through the inexplicably populated woods.
Yeah. It just kept ramping up, and he was so remorseless and just found it so amusing what he was doing to all these people. I thought when he first grabbed that woman who was just sunning herself on the rocks, I thought he was going to maybe keep her behind a rock and put a hand over her mouth to stop her screaming until the people went past, and there was going to be tension in it. But no, it was just, give this guy a fucking chainsaw and let him do his work. It really was balls to the wall, and it really got me on board early on. And I mean, to be fair, the scream after the 8-minute introduction had me on board.
Yeah.
And you've got Mango over the opening credits, just dragging this woman back to the castle, just sort of trudging, like grudgingly back to the castle whilst this spooky music and the credits play, and it's just the best comedy juxtaposition of motifs. The music was just consistently brilliant.
And I quite like our 2 leads, Glenn, Cannon, and Liz. Like, there's a sardonic sort of slightly tired thing going on between them that I quite enjoy. It's a very basic kind of protagonist relationship that I am willing to buy into, and something that Mad Men of Honduras could have really done with.
Yeah.
That means we're going to have to spend another night here, doesn't it?
Liz here positively thrives on logic. Had you noticed?
They had quite a nice feisty relationship. I bought it.
They did. There was conflict between them, is the thing, and that made them interesting to watch. And that's another thing is, I genuinely didn't know what was going to happen in this thing.
Yeah.
It subverted my expectations enough that I genuinely didn't know where we were going. Like, having them discover that they're vampires, like, the second day, I thought it was going to be a series of nights. But no, just the second morning, it's like, well, let's go see if they were lying to us last night, which they probably were.
You're expecting a dark, probing, psychological thriller.
Oh, vampires, great. And I fucking adore that line of just, well, there's an obvious explanation to this. What is it? Well, they're vampires. Like, that's fucking great. That really made me laugh.
Yeah, I really don't have much more to say about it than it was just it was just constantly enjoyable, and I'd recommend watching this, and watching a YouTube reel would do it a disservice, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. I think this one was a Gorehouse great. The first.
This one really was a Gorehouse grape. Oh, shit.
Shit! I do still have a soft spot for Brain Twisters, though, and I always will. In spite of how monumentally boring it is.
You would.
It's like Tree of Life. Okay. Let's quick fire before you can respond to that.
Look at all them hungry fishes at SeaWorld.
Yeah.
That's great.
Look,
all the shots of seals and dolphins and that, eating shit. Well, I've got a letter. It appears my uncle has died. Hey, everyone, here's a walrus. Yay. Never mind. Vampires now.
Look at it. Look at his weird mouth.
Look at it, fucking idiot.
Alexander Darcy, born Alexander Saruf.
Nay
Saruf. Before he married into the Darcy family.
The Darcy dynasty.
Darcy Dynasty. Yes, at one point he was great as the sort of fucking Dracula, this aged, very polite Dracula. And at one stage the girl's like, when are you going to let me go? And he's just like, oh, never, I'm afraid. Just like correcting a misconception. Like, oh dear, sorry.
Yeah.
I should have made this clear first.
I do like the trend in these Gorehouse greats of very assertive, very plain-speaking arch villains.
Yeah.
Of, well, I'm going to kill you, of course. What else would I do? Oh dear.
It's a very simple explanation to this. You're going to die.
I really like the reveal when the butler is... He finishes taking the blood of the new hostage, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
When he leaves, and then he goes to leave the room, the camera pans, and it reveals that there are several other women in this dungeon.
Right.
That was really good. It was really fantastic.
Who we couldn't afford to pay to speak.
Yeah.
I like that the fact the search party after Johnny consisted of 3 guys in t-shirts and 2 dogs. This is the police force in this state. It's Ted, Fred, and Jed. And their 2 dogs, who are called Roger Sterling and Frederick Wittgenstein.
They're the real brains of the operation.
Come on, humans.
Liz was nice and spunky, I thought. I think spunky is the right word for her. More than being a 60s film. And she did play off against Glenn McClannon from really well. Even if Glenn did really actually fucking hate her and not respect her in any way, shape or form.
Do you suppose our castle has a moat?
Oh, just give me strength, that's all I ask.
Every castle has a moat, and I am going swimming in ours.
No one in the history of civilization has ever gone swimming in a moat.
What do they use them for, then?
Well, they're used for,
Yeah.
repelling, warriors and enemies from the castle walls.
Oh, I see. I'd look perfectly ridiculous swimming in a moat full of water, but you'd look perfectly sane standing on the ramparts with an iron helmet on your head, whopping Turks over the head with a mace. Guess I just wasn't thinking.
Yeah, there was a fun back and forth between them in a sort of very old-fashioned style. Oh, I really like the scene where, having discovered they're vampires, fucking Glenn tries to tackle them before he gets shackled. And it's a really pathetic knockout, but in a good way. Like, he goes to tackle Mungo, and Mungo sort of just smacks him in the head, and Glenn has still got his arms around Mungo, but he's gone limp. There was something very real about it. Just the way that he just sort of went crap after he got hit in the head.
Yeah, and it's like...
He ragdolled.
Yeah, and it's like, oops, there goes my brute strength. There goes my humanity. I'm a lump now.
Yeah, it was like the way people die in Green Room. You know, it's just kind of instant and very disappointing, but utterly horrifying as well.
Whoops, you're meat now. Yeah. Biceps on Glenn, though, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Did you check out his biceps?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying I like his biceps, but I fucking hate Liz. She's an idiot. Synthetic blood. I thought that was pretty woke of the vampires.
Ah.
I like how it was thrown in there. It's like, it's not even a plot thing. It's just, they would be progressives if they could, but you know what it's like.
Yes, well... Yes, there was this sort of satire of middle-class values with them, I feel. That they were these sort of blood-sucking vampires, but with aspirations to being law-abiding citizens. When they get back to the house, having burnt the chick, Mrs. Vampire, Mrs. Dracula, at one point just says, "Oh, it's getting late, we'll have to rush through dinner." And it's just such a bland, nothing thing to say that I really enjoyed it in this context of just... the inconveniences of blood sacrifices.
The final credits, as we have the reel of the actors who are appearing in this film with their names. There's something incredibly creepy about it. It might have been the music. It was quite majestic, along with the shots just lingering on these actors. It was snippets from the film. Yeah, and I don't know what it was exactly, but it was just a mixture of the music and the nice like isolated shots of these actors. There was something really creepy about it. But then there's footage of Liz in wedding gear.
Yes, I noticed that. So sort of
which
hint at the future.
Yes.
It's funny though because I found that sequence with the real footage and the dramatic music utterly hilarious. Like I had it here as something to mention because it was so fucking funny for me. I was laughing out loud at seeing these characters just sort of look confused into the distance as menacing music played.
Ah,
I really liked it for that reason. But we both enjoyed it.
Yeah, it worked on many levels. Like Dracula.
One man's anxiety is another man's comedy. I mean, Jesus, that's the premise behind stand-up comedy.
Life, I think.
The last good thing we'll mention then is just John Carradine.
Yeah.
He's, this character actor, but he was fucking great. You could tell why he's such a sort of a popular character actor amongst sort of directors is that he just really gave it his all in that role. He didn't care what film he was in. He's here to play a creepy butler, and he's going to play a creepy butler.
What are you going to do to me?
Right now, I'm going to take a sample of your blood.
What?
Your blood. Delicious. It's new. Mango brought in a young girl tonight. The type 00 positive, very rare. Young girl, extremely young and beautiful, perhaps even pure.
Great. All right, let's talk about the one better thing. I have one suggestion.
Okay, go for it.
I know, again, we don't do this, except that we've now done it 50% of the times we've done this, so technically we do this.
Seems that way.
The classic old James Whale film, The Old Dark House, which is about a couple who encounter car troubles during a storm out in the countryside and go stay in an old dark house, which is inhabited by a sort of collection of a coterie of eccentric figures, including a hilarious old brother and sister couple. They hate each other as well in a really amusing ways. The mum and the sister in particular is just sort of old hag style kind of character of just, you can't come in, there's no beds here. The brother just sort of being, I apologize for my sister doesn't get out as often as she used to. And then there's whoever it is they're keeping locked in the attic. It's just a really funny camp movie from James Whale, the director of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. Oh, so there you go. There's a John Carradine connection here. 6 Degrees of John Carradine. Make it work.
Easy.
It's just one of the most fun films to come out of that period, and really gothic as well, and quite creepy in places.
Cool.
That was the one better thing. Alright, Paul, how can people find out about the one good thing, which is a fellow podcast that we have?
You may have heard of it, sister podcast. Horrendously sexist. They do
way too drawn out. Yeah. Not like us good quick fingers.
You give them the time to actually stretch their legs, and it's just tits, wall-to-wall tits, isn't it?
They stretch them into tits.
If you want to get in touch, everyone, you can do that on Twitter and Facebook at OGTPod. Send us an email, ogtpod@gmail.com. Find us on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, Stitcher, and some other things probably. Search One Good Thing. Yes.
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 Would you? Yes.
How can they find us? Yes. That is yes.
That is yes. All is yes. Okay. I'm Paul Salt.
I'm Paul Goodman.
And remember, the one quick thing about Blood of Dracula's castle is that sometimes it is worth investigating, because you never know when it might actually be toucans.